right. Project Feeding Children. This young man, before we get started real quickly, I got a couple things I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Kohara in Japan. Thank you so much for joining in Japan. Mr. Al Randolph in Oakland, California. Miss Linda Belize, thank you so much. Miss Natasha Ismail, Regional Director out of Fresno, California. Another Regional Director, Mr. Brian Baker out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Ms. Carolyn Baker out of Bakery Organization. Mr. Chris McDowell, thank you so much. Mr. Gray, part of Maker's Organization. Miss Jones of Crew out of South Carolina, thank you so much for joining in. Miss Christina, thank you so much. Mr. Daryl Ranson, thank you so much for joining in. Ms. Dominique Young, our school teacher up in Nashville, Tennessee. Frank and Patricia Bowman from Elk Grove, California, thank you so much. Mr. Harrison Mill, thank you so much from Fresno. Mr. Jeremy Lush out of Nashville. Sir, congratulations on your brand new IBO. Can we give him a hand for that? Brand new IBO, Mr. Lush, thank you. Congratulations, sir. We also want to thank Miss Joyce Brewer. I see her jumping on right now. Regional Director out of San Diego, California, the great Mr. Julian Lewis. What a great story yesterday. The three boys jumping into the pool. My God, that was a great. Uh-oh, what happened here? That was a great story. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Carter out of San Diego. Thank you, sir. Mr. Payon out of Japan. Wow, Japan. We got people on. And also Mr. Let's see here. Miss Castro out of Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you. Mr. Tosh out of Vegas. Thank you so much. Miss Pat Robinson out of Oakland, California. And also Miss Tara McDonald out of San Diego. Sergio out of Mexico. ¿Qué pasó, señor? Thank you for joining in Mexico. Wow, we got Mexico, we got Japan, we got Australia. Hey, well, I want to thank everybody today. We got a great call lined up. And some of you are like, who's the mob? Who's the mob? And our gentleman, our guest speaker today, let me tell you something. I sent out a text this morning, and I've been saying all week, we have, where is he? There he is, his handsome self. I said we got the Chicago mob on Thursday. Everybody kept saying the mob, M-O-D, the mob. I go, and the message I sent out this morning was the Chicago M-M-A-N, man, the Chicago man. All week long, Mr. Tapia, I've been telling the mob, so they like, the mob, who's the mob? And I sent out a text, M and dot, and they kept the mob, who's the mob? M-A-N, man. A little play on words right there. Well, listen, this young man hails from the Chicago area. Team Unlimited is knowing his group up from the south side of Chicago. I mean, they rule it like, yeah, they rule it like Frank Nitty's group. Yeah, they're bad out there. Matter of fact, when they do meetings in the old days, they used to pack out, you don't even know, I know, they used to pack out the Holiday Inn there on Joliet Road down in countryside, Illinois. I mean, packed it out, people could not get in. I mean, it was amazing. Saturday trainings with the Hilton in Oakland Park, man, they were just, see, they don't even know I know about this. They were, man, people call, I can't even get in their meetings. They're packed, hundreds of people in here. We're outside, we can't get in. I said, wow, man, these guys are gangster. So I nicknamed them the mob, even though they're limitless. I call them the mob. So they're here he's here to share a story with us. Uh-oh, what happened here? Let me tell you about this young man. Not only that, but he's a great family man. I have so much respect for him. Every time he speaks from stage, I love to sit and listen to him. Take notes on what he has to say. Not only that, he's true and true through and through, and that's why I love having him on our call. And without further ado, from Chicago, Regional Vice President Platinum, Mr. Caesar Tapia. Sir, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Thomas. Thank you for having me on, sir. Great to be here. Appreciate you.
Thank you for you taking your time away from everything and be on here for us.
Hey, Mr. Thomas, you know what? It's like I told you from day one, you know, anything you need from me, it's really my honor and privilege. I remember 7 years ago, for those of you that don't know, 7 years ago when I got involved in ACN, went to my first international convention. And, you know, you're nervous, you're excited. You see the big SVPs and the top earners. You see the fancy watches and the Louis Vuitton Gator shoes. And, you know, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. You know, the only people that had that growing up was the people that weren't doing it legally. You know what I'm saying? And so when I came into ACN and saw the lifestyle and saw what was available and went to my first convention, Mr. Thomas, I don't know if you remember this, but we had just hit ETL. and I was coming off stage, my wife and I, and you were one of the very first persons who greeted my wife and I. You said, congratulations. You looked me in the eye and said, I'm proud of you and you have what it takes. And you know what? That resonated with me. You never know the impact someone's going to have on you because their words are powerful. And you know what, Mr. Thomas, the fact that you invited me on here to share with your team, man, it's an honor, and I'm privileged to be here with you, sir. So thank you. And I look forward to today.
Well, sir, thank you for being on here with us and for us. So thank you.
No, you know what? It's again, thank you for having me. You know, I just wanted to, if you don't mind, Mr. Thomas, I just kind of wanted to share a little bit with your group, a little bit about my journey and my story. It was so cool hearing everybody jump on from Australia, and we got people from all parts of the world jumping on. And, you know, it's just a beautiful thing to know that the season we're in of ACN, being able to come together and leverage Zoom and be able to, be able to leverage this technology and build business. Like last night, I was in a meeting. I did one meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, talked to a friend. 45 minutes later, I was able to do a presentation to someone in California. An hour later, back in Chicago. You know, so it's like being able to be on the go and leverage technology. We're just at a special season. You know, 7 years ago when I joined, as we know, I know maybe you're fairly newer. You're one of the original OGs in ACN, so to speak. But we built our business differently, right? We're putting mileage on our car. We were doing home meetings, and you know, obviously things have changed, and you know, we're forced to evolve. But 7 years ago, when I got involved in ACN, I didn't have a business background, right? Like Mr. Thomas said, I was born and raised in the South Side of Chicago. I come from very humble beginnings. You know, I'm raised by a single mom, hardworking mom. You know, we didn't talk about money growing up. We didn't talk about business growing up. You know, growing up, I didn't know that we were lower class. You know, I didn't know any better. I was just a product of my environment. But one thing I did have, and that my mom instilled in me was work ethic, integrity, loyalty, respect, being a man of your word. And so those were things that my mom instilled in me as a parent. And, you know, when I took a look at ACN 7 years ago, I was nervous. I was excited. I had no idea what was going on, but I knew I needed something to work. And so you have no idea, Mr. Thomas, that those little, perhaps insignificant to you, but very significant to me, those little conversations impacted my life so much. And here we are 7 years later, being able to live a lifestyle because of this wonderful opportunity.
Nice.
But, you know, with that being said, guys, I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. So we got involved in ACN August 2013, started building this part-time spare time. You know, I worked at AT&T as a corporate. Isn't it cool that I used to work at AT&T as a corporate employee, and now we offer every single AT&T service. We just launched TV. We got the internet. We got the cell phone. So I always tell my wife, there's a lot of customers I acquired for AT&T back in the day, and it's unfortunate I'm not making residual on them today, but we're just blessed to know that now, because of ACN, we're making residual income. But I was working my corporate job 50, 60 hours a week. My son, CJ, at the time, he was 5 years old, and my wife was working a lot of hours. You know, that's just what we knew, and we were, you know, don't get me wrong, I was grateful for my job. You know, always had an attitude of gratitude, had the corporate ladder lifestyle, the 401k, the benefits, and I thought I was set for life. But being at AT&T after 7 years, I knew that I needed something different. I looked at people that were at my job 10 years, 20 years longer than me, and I said, man, that's the lifestyle I'm going to have. And so I just needed something to work. And I always said I didn't have a business background, but mama didn't raise no fool. I knew that I needed a multiple stream of income. I was always intrigued with business ownership. And so you never know how your prayers are going to get answered, right? Mr. Arturo Neshi, I grew up with him also in Chicago, and we kept in contact because of Facebook. And I would see him posting on his social media page, going to meetings, and he'd have a suit on. And I was like, what does this guy do, right? But never reached out to him. And he reached out to me, and he said, hey, Caesar, I know you have a corporate job. It looks like you're doing well for yourself, but do you look, literally, he knows I was living paycheck to paycheck, right? But he said, do you look at other ways of making money? And I said, absolutely. And so I saw ACN, and I remember seeing it for the first time. And I'll be honest, you know, I'm from the South Side of Chicago. You know, we barely greet each other, let alone like let someone tell us about making money, right? And so we always think, oh, someone's out to get me. Someone's out to get me. And little did I know that this gentleman was going to be the guardian angel, so to speak, that I was praying for, right? And my initial goal was to make $500. Like maybe many of you on this line, I was like, if I can make $1,000 plan B and stay at my full-time job. You see, some people get involved in ACN and you know, they want to make crazy money for sure. But me, because of my limited beliefs and where I've come from, I was just happy making a couple $100, $500 a month. But here's what happened. We made a comma check our first 30 days, right? And who knows that nothing builds belief like getting checks. And so we started building the business more aggressively. And I'll be honest, guys, we hit TCRD in 5.5 months. And, you know, I know there's people who hit it faster, people who are maybe taking longer. Just understand everybody has their journey. But here's what happened during those 5 months building an RD. You know, we've encountered a lot of opposition. I just did a leadership with my team. And, you know, it was a get real type of conversation. And I let them know that, you know, this is a real business. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be seasons, right? And it's easy to be motivated and be inspirational. And it's easy to show up when you're winning in life, right? When business is going good and everything outside of business is going good. But you really learn a lot about someone on how they show up. Maybe when they're not in the best season of their life. And so when I was building my first couple months of ACN, I just felt like I was running into roadblocks, right? I had friends and family members questioning me. Why are you doing this ACN thing? Nobody makes money. And you have a corporate safe job. And, you know, so I'll be honest, my mom, like, I'm a mama's boy. Like, I don't know if you could relate. Like, isn't it crazy that sometimes your reason why is sometimes going to be the biggest people that give you the biggest opposition in the business, right? And so my mom, like, I'm sitting here at the table. I remember getting launched, and if you guys know Mr. Nesh and Mr. Velasquez, they give it to you straight, right? And so I remember I was sitting there launching them, and you know, we're talking about writing your why down. And I'm writing my why down and I'm getting fired up. I'm getting teary eyed. You know, they're painting vision for me. And then here comes my mom sending me text messages telling me, are you sure you want to do this thing? You got a great job. You know, just, and what I realize is a lot of times the people, your family members, they just want to protect you. They think they're protecting you, right? And in reality, here's what I had to do. I said, I love my mother. I love my friends and family members, but do they have the lifestyle that I wanted? And it was a hard conversation to swallow, right? A hard pill to swallow. And do you know, to this day, now my mom's an IBO. She's on her RD run. My goal this year is to help retire my mom off of her. You see, those are my whys. My original why was I want to be a baller. Don't get me wrong. I love money. I love cashing fat checks. I just love what I could do with those fat checks. Being able to write a check for my son, CJ. For those of you that don't know, it used to be hard for me to talk about this. As a man, you know, my son was diagnosed with autism. And so you hear doctors saying, oh, he may be with you guys the rest of his life. You may have to care for him. And so those are scary conversations, and they're humbling conversations. And so as a parent, I knew that I needed to step up. I knew that I needed something to work for my family. And, you know, God works in mysterious ways. And so, you know, when you're talking about your why, guys, you know, I think it's easy to overlook and say, hey, what's your why? What's your why? What's your why? But you really got to hold that near and dear to your heart, right? When you have parents and family members and friends, like Mr. Provenzano said it, like, you know, I love everybody. I respect everybody, but eagles and pigeons have different visions, right? And so my son being diagnosed with autism, I said, I gotta step up. And as a man of the household, as the head of the household, I said, I got to make some things happen. And so every single day when I got negativity, every single day isn't it cool that now you don't got to go to drive 2 hours to go to a PBR and no one's there? Now you could show up, you could just do it from your living room, right? But you know, those days I remember driving to PBRs, you ring the door, you drive up to the house, the lights are on, you ring the doorbell and the lights go off and you're driving back home an hour and a half by, right? And so I remember those days. And I remember questioning myself, am I good enough? You know, maybe my friends and family members who said I couldn't do this, maybe they are right. And so it's important, guys, that, you know, I talk to my team all the time, you know, especially during these times, Like we're dealing with evil, we're dealing with some craziness out there. So, but people are looking for opportunity. People are looking for hope. And as leaders on this line, I think we have a responsibility to go out there and share the vision and hope with as many people as possible. You know, one of my leaders, I want to share with you, I had a conversation with him and he said, Caesar, I don't know, like, I don't know if I could reach out to people during these times. I don't want to feel like I'm bothering them. I said, are you kidding me? I said, right now, there's never been a better time. People right now are on their hands and knees looking for opportunity. People want to work from home. People don't want to rely on the government. People are now realizing that entrepreneurship, online presence, you know, getting paid residuals is the way to go, multiple streams. So, you know, we need to adopt the mentality. I adopt the mentality that if you're looking for me, I'm looking for you. So when I was out there building my business every day, I would go do meetings, whether they were good or bad meetings. I detached myself from the result, but I just made sure I kept showing up. I made sure I was consistent. You see, ACN is like the gym, right? Thank God here in Chicago, the gym's just opened back up. Hallelujah. Hopefully that stays like that. But it's like the gym here, right? You got to be consistent. There's going to be days you don't feel like showing up. Today in the morning, I didn't want to go to the gym, right? But here's what I knew. I knew that after the gym, I was going to feel great. I knew that it was going to, you know, get me one step closer to becoming a better version of myself. And you know what? Sometimes it's easy to, I could have hit the snooze button and said, no one's watching. You know who's watching? The person in the mirror. That's who's watching. You know, so in this business, I'll tell you, I believe the reason that why people don't stick it out is because you get to meet the real version of you, right? And sometimes that could be scary. You could agree. Leadership, it's a privilege, right? But on top of that, it could be uncomfortable and it could be challenging. And so you got to get real with yourself and understand, you know, when you look in the mirror, who do you see as a person, right? When you look in the mirror, are you having the limited beliefs or empowering beliefs? And I'm sharing this with you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm an RVP and I'm telling you, everyone in the company, we have those days where we have those limited conversations. You see, I still have them, but now I nip them in the butt and I shift right away. Right? Before they used to linger on, I used to let it paralyze me. Now I realize that that's just a conversation. I have the choice to shift it, right? So when you're looking in the mirror, what do you see? Are you empowering yourself? I'll give you guys a little secret. I used to be so nervous giving presentations. I used to go to the bathroom before the meeting would start, and I would play the Eminem anthem in my head, dun, 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 like just to get myself fired up, right? Like, you're a champion, Caesar. You're a savage. You're from the south side of Chicago. You grew up. You got this. Your family's counting on you. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, they're going to say no. A no don't kill you. Like, so I was like having, and eventually, right, it just became embedded who I was. But just understand, guys, there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days, right? And what I realize is, as when you're in a leadership position, I know you know, Mr. Al Thomas, when you're in a leadership position, you're in a glass bowl. People are watching everything you do, right? And so I realized everything duplicates good or bad in this business. You walk in with a bad attitude, they're going to have a bad attitude. You miss one leadership meeting. Oh my goodness. I learned the hard way. Your team won't tell you this, but you miss one leadership meeting. Here's what they do. They don't say it, but they'll put it in their back pocket for a rainy day. And they'll be like, you know what? Leadership tomorrow, I'm going to go hang out and do X, Y, Z. My upline mentor, so-and-so did it 2 months ago. What's the big idea? So it's just, you got to just be aware that your team is watching your example and they're going to duplicate everything that you do, good or bad, guys. Let's see. Mr. Thomas, is there anything else that you wanted me to touch up on specifically, sir? Because
you know, tell them, you know, which is amazing, RD in 5.5 months. Let's talk about your RD run to RVP.
Yes. So I remember, I forgot who said in ACN, they said, positions getting promoted doesn't take long, people take long. And so we hit RD in 5.5 months, which was fairly, for us, fairly fast in our organization, right? But I'll tell you, I really grew more than anything going RD to RVP. I realized, and this is what's crazy, is I realized that the person that got me to RD wasn't going to cut it to get me to RVP. I had to continue to grow and become a better version of myself, which was scary, but also exciting. Because anytime you're experiencing growth, it's uncomfortable. And, you know, human nature says anything we feel uncomfortable, we want to retract, right? But, you know, from RD to RVP, I remember there was days, shoot, we wouldn't get home till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And here's what I believe now, with being able to leverage technology, we've never been in a better position. But there was days I was driving home, Mr. Thomas, and nobody was on the road, and I'm questioning it, right? But then the next day I do a PBR and I meet somebody and they say that, because nothing more keeps you more excited than meeting a brand new fired up rep, right? And so I go do the next meeting, I meet a brand new rep, and here's what I realized, that, man, there's a lot of people like myself are out there who are looking for opportunity. There's a lot of people who are praying for something. But at the same time, I had to realize that as I'm going through my journey, I'm going to experience some ups and some downs. I'm going to experience the valleys and the mountaintops, right? And so what helped me stay plugged in, obviously mentorship. You know, the fact that, you know, when I joined ACN, I'm grateful I had an RD as my upline. You know, some of you guys get to have access to Mr. L. Thomas, you know, the knowledge and the wisdom that he has, you know, stay plugged with your mentors, stay plugged into the people that are winning in ACN, you know, reading self-development books. I'm a student of the game. You know, little do you know, Mr. Thomas, I sneak onto some of your meetings and I'm taking notes, right? I mean, I realize that even though I'm an RVP, you can learn from everybody, right? And understanding that, I always said this, Mr. Thomas, and that's why I have so much respect for you, because we know Mr. Thomas does well for himself financially. We know he's doing this out of the kindness of his heart to change lives. But there are other people who don't, you know, and the fact that we have access to someone like you, Mr. Thomas, and you continue to put these leaderships together. You know, I've been a student of the game since day one. And I believe, you know, I always told myself, no matter how successful I come in ACN, no matter how many lives I impact, I'm never going to buy my own press. I'm always going to give it back to my leadership. I'm always going to give it back to the organization. I'm always going to give it back to the co-founders, because it's easy to think that you're the deal, especially when you're on stage getting edified and you're making 10, 20,000 a month that you're not used to making. Like, it's easy to buy your own press. But you know what? I realize you either stay humbled or you get humbled. And that's a fact. And I said, no matter how much money I make, or, you know, whether I'm in production or not, or whatever, I'm always going to remain a student of the game, have an attitude of gratitude, and continue to serve my organization. And I think as long as you have that attitude and that come from, you're going to attract the right people. You're going to build a massive organization. So here we are now 7 years later. And man, it's so, like, I just had a conversation with my RD, was texting me, and he said, let's knock out some meetings during the day. And I got the boat for a couple hours. You want to hang out? And I said, absolutely. I was like, wait a minute. I'm doing a testimonial for one of my presentations while I'm on the boat. But I said, it's all good. We're going to be on the boat. I'll throw the earphones on and handle business, right? So I just sit here and, like, thank God every day that someone called me. Thank God that Mr. Arturo Neshi didn't prejudge me. Some of us on this line right now have friends or family members that last night went to bed and they're praying for ACN. And so, we have a responsibility to be a blessing to other people. And I feel like as long as you keep continuing blessing people, have the right intention, grow, work on yourself, and always remain humble, man, sky's the limit here within the ACN opportunity.
I like what you say, stay humble or be humble. You know, it's amazing how people do a conference call or two and they get to believe in their own press because a few people gave them a thumbs up, and you try to help them out to show them how they can be better than that. So I like that. Stay humble or be humble. Mr. Tapia, you're welcome anytime on my calls. You don't have to just sneak in, just come on in. And we actually do tomorrow night, we do a happy hour at 6 o'clock, and it's a lot of fun. So you're more than welcome. And Monday through Friday, the same number. You're more than welcome anytime, my friend. There is always a person or two that always want to know, DMO. So give everybody a shot at your daily mode of operation, if you don't mind.
Yes. So in the business, I like to focus on the income producing activities, right? Customers, reps, obviously back in the day, we would track events and pre-regs. But right now, customers, reps, and PBZs is what I track every single day. So I love that, it's cool because before, when I was part-time ACN, I was only limited to do maybe 1 or 2 meetings a day because of Chicago traffic, you know, just a lot going on. I was busy, but now being able to leverage Zoom, I'll tell you, today's Thursday. Let's see, Wednesday we did a couple meetings. So Tuesday, we did 5 back-to-back Zooms, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. So literally in 2.5 hours, I was able to expose the business to over 35 people. So my goal every day, we have our weekly, our daily trainings, and we have our daily 7 p.m. calls. But throughout the day, my goal in the books is to have personally to be a part of at least four PBZs every single day. Every single day. And then what we do is, you know, because it's easy to get caught up, Mr. Thomas, in the things that, I mean, self-development is important, back office is important, tracking is important, but, you know, I told my team to focus on the things that generate incomes, checks, fast qualifications, PBZs, and getting people onto the training events all day, every day.
I like that. I like that. You know, that is so important. And you guys were so effective at what you do. I remember at every international, you guys had grown up so big with your production. You guys be in the top 5 or 7 of the top 10 every convention with your own section, and everybody went black and pink on. And I said, now those guys are on the ball. These guys are, because you're effective at how you do that. So I like the idea you do 4 PBZs on top of everything else that you get. Oh, okay, here we go. So on top of everything else you guys have in your regular PBZs and PBZ trainings, but throughout the day you try to do 4 yourself. So that's great and that's helpful, because I got an IBO I was sharing that with. There's one IBO, I always want to know what everybody's DMO is. So I just had to ask that question.
Yeah, you know, if you don't mind me sharing, Mr. Thomas, on top of that too, you know, the reason what I found was, you know, we were a big event team, and what I found was that obviously not being able to do events, we got good at plugging people into our evening calls, and they'd be packed out. But what I found was I was plugging a lot of phase 1s into that 7 p.m. call as their first exposure. And sometimes it's like if they get exposed at a BOM, sometimes it could be an info overload. So I would prefer like a quick PBZ during the day, and then plug them into the evening call as well too, where now they see it's like doing a Starbucks sit down, and then now I get you to the BOM, and then now I get you to the training, you know. So we've seen some success with that.
You know, that makes a lot of sense, because a smaller exposure, you see where they're at, and then get them to the evening exposure where, wow, it's just like doing, like you said, and then doing a Starbucks, and then doing a PBR back in the day, or then take them to a PBR, and then take them to the international. So it's right. That's great. That was powerful right there. Yeah. That was so amazing. Wow. Man, I just got blessed. I've got all these notes I've been taking on what you've been saying over here.
It's like giving a little drink of water. And I feel like if we could, every time we expose them, it like builds their belief. So within a 24-hour period, they've already seen a quick PBZ. They were in a bigger bigger 7 o'clock presentation and the training. So.
You know, that's a great, I like that. That I walked away. I don't know about anybody else got that, but I got that. That was a blessing for me. You know, and I like the idea of pigeons and eagles have 2 different visions. Man, I had to put a star by that one.
Man, Mr. Thomas, I had so many friends. You know, you grew up with friends from the neighborhood, and you think that these are going to be your forever friends. And, you know, you love people. Like, man, that's one thing. I love people, man. I just love connecting with people. I understand. But sometimes you got to realize that your vision is your vision, and people aren't going to see that sometimes, but don't you dare let anybody steal that vision from you.
You know, and that's so important, because so many times, and I think you hit the nail on the head about our mothers, fathers, people that we love and respect all these years, when they go against us or doubt us, and it hurts us. And so many people put down the mantle and don't pick it back up again, and they just become just ordinary when they could be dynamic.
I see that happen. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. And I had to really dig, and I was like, well, why is it that my mom is this way? And you realize that, no offense to her, she doesn't know any better. You know, she wasn't raised with business. And it's funny, because you talk to someone who was raised with a business background, like, absolutely, $200, this makes sense. Residual income. Oh my, you know, so I just had to realize that don't take things personal, and just be the example.
Yeah, that's great. Be the example. Because a lot of times people around us that we love and care for the most are the ones who hurt us the most because they were brought up paycheck to paycheck, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. That's all they know. You know, my daughter was by here last night and we were talking about her little business she's got going. She was so jacked up. She got all these accolades last couple of days to making more money now. I said, you know, it's like, I said, well, honey, look where you come from. You know, look what I instilled in you at a young age. You know, so, and your mother helped some of that too. But the whole idea is different mindset, and we have to change our mindsets and stay strong. So give us a few words in closing, sir. You were just so dynamic. I might be back again soon.
Oh, it's my, you know what? Let's see. In closing, I just want to share this, guys. I'm 7 years in the business. I've never been more excited, more honored, more privileged. Like, I remember I used to be that undercover ACN rep. Now I'm at the gym puffing my, man, yeah, it's ACN, you know? And so, remember, people follow people. Thank God we're in essential services. Thank God. But people follow people. And realize that it's okay to not be good, but it's not okay to not continue to grow every single day. I realize that change is constant, but growth is optional. And
wow,
we've never been better positioned. Like, think about as unfortunate as the pandemic is. Like, I got friends and family members, man, and I pray that anybody who's been impacted, I pray for everyone on the front lines with this whole craziness of pandemic. But as crazy as things are, we're so perfectly positioned with the online presence, being able to leverage Zoom technology. Right now, an extra $1,000 a month for people could change their lives. They'll be on these calls thanking you for sharing this opportunity with them. Right now, people want to work from home. I got people who I showed ACN to years ago, and even though we had success, they didn't join. But now, because of the pandemic and things that are happening, they're now more open to ever. So I think this is our season. ACN right now is wide open. I think some of the top earners haven't even joined our company yet. I think some of the top earners perhaps may come out of this group, but it starts with us, Mr. Thomas. And again, anything that I can do to support you guys here in Chicago. Mr. Thomas is like that older uncle that any chance I get to be around. We were in Panama a year or two ago. I'll tell you, you know, we were at this first of all, the place we're at was the nicest place I've ever been to, like hands down, where we ate. And with the exception of all those bugs, I think I had like a mosquito bites for about 3 weeks after we left Panama. But
we all did.
It was incredible. And so anything I can do to serve you, your organization, Mr. Thomas, I'm a phone call away. I can't wait till we're back at Nationals kicking it again because we're well overdue. So hopefully it served you guys. Hopefully you guys got some great value today, Mr. Thomas.
We had thank you. We had fun at that. It was like a $20 million house. This house was with a creek going through that place was so the kitchen was big enough to you could play tennis in it and sit 30, 40 people in the kitchen and eat and cook.
You know, it's real.
That house was amazing.
And when Mr. Thomas is impressed, you know, it's real deal.
Yeah, that house, the owner of all those hotels own that. It was amazing. Hey, my friend, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you. I love how you love your wife and CJ. You're just amazing, man. And I admire you from the distance. And I just watch people, and I've always watched how a real man that you are. And also not only that, but you take care of business. You love your family. You take care of your family. You're just an ideal man who understands what it is to be a man and also to be a great provider. And on top of that, a great leader for your community and also your organization. So I want to thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to call you and get you back on another one here in a couple of weeks because you blessed so many people today. You have no idea. And I'm getting all these private messages, but we want to thank you so much. I want to appreciate you so much. Regional Director Rose Guerrero and Chris King says, thank you so much, sir. Carol Johnson say, thank you. Such wise words. And by the way, folks, can we show some love? Can we show some love? Can we show some love? There we go. Show him some love. We will get him back on here in a couple of weeks. Because I know there's more in there to get out, but thank you so much. We appreciate you so much, Mr. Tapia. Thank you so much. So, Mrs. Caesar Tapia, we thank you from Chicago. Oh, Miss Johnson Driscoll, Regional Director Vice, also grateful.
Good to see you. Appreciate it.
Wow, man, we got all kind of people on there. TJ in Ohio, thank you so much. Mr. Alexander, thank you. Hey, everybody, real quickly for tomorrow, we got Mr. Nathan Goldberg will be back. Nathan Goldberg will be back with us tomorrow morning at 9:00 a.m. Mr. Caesar, thank you so much, sir. Wow, everybody, I hope you guys got plenty of notes. We thank you so much, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Take care. God bless. And don't forget tonight at 6 o'clock, back to a 1 through 10 tonight. Mr. Thank you so much. God bless.